Alright, I know Splatoon 3 literally comes out later today / tomorrow, depending on your time zone, but I wanted to spend one final day to talk about Splatoon 2. So today, I'm gonna go over all the great things Splatoon 2 did, the trailers and my favorite parts from them, and a little bit of a personal wrap-up on my favorite moments before we all move on. Let's get started. Now, if you're a Splatoon 1 veteran, you know very well that once the new game drops, the old game servers become a bit more inactive. Sure, you can still find games and experience a lot of the single-player stuff, but it's definitely different from having an entire community actively talk about the game and play it. Splatoon 3 looks like it's going to be amazing, but it's important to remember how many of these things came from this game. So, 2. Introduce 2 brand new and inventive weapon classes, one centered around mobility and the other shielding and tanking capability, both encouraging teamwork or offering brand new options. Expanded on previous classes with new mechanics such as Roller's vertical flick, Charger's charge hold, or things like Brushes being able to roll full speed on uninkable surfaces. Added to all these weapon classes was some of the most inventive and unique concepts I've ever seen. The new weapons in this game were seriously some of the most fantastic additions, and so many of them are notable. Brand new subs that were amazing, and some super cool special concepts. Introduced Salmon Run, a brand new horde mode with its own share of unique maps, bosses, and introducing a new way to work with your team. Amazing UI and graphical updates that make the game not only look significantly better, but introduce a lot more clarity that makes it easier for people to follow. Got both spectator mode, so tournaments could be casted and watched way more easily, as well as league battle to help enhance competitive play. Fantastic new characters with Off the Hook getting fully fleshed out in Octo Expansion with amazing arcs and personalities. Drastic improvements to the overall gear system and making it much easier to build what sets you want. Oh, and the entirety of Octo Expansion, which for me is the best part of Splatoon, and I'm a competitive player who considers the single-player side content for me. For a game that originally had a lack of content and was stereotyped as Splatoon 1.5, it's pretty incredible how 2 still managed to do so much for the series at the end of the day. Now, I get despite this, a lot of people are really happy to move on to Splatoon 3, and hey, myself included, but I don't want this to be leaving a game as, wow, this was just pure trash that did nothing for the series, and it's this awkward middle child. I feel like that's how people are going to remember this game, and it's not what it deserves. Splatoon 2 had to do an unbelievable amount of work from Splatoon 1, and even though it didn't end up a masterpiece, if a future game does, it'll be because this came first. Splatoon 2 is no perfect game, and there was certainly a lot to be improved on, as we're gonna find out with Splatoon 3, but it did a lot of good things, and it deserves to be known and celebrated for what it did, rather than that tossed to the side because its execution didn't come out as flawlessly as we hoped it would. When Splatoon 1 was ending, a lot of fans didn't recognize the good it did, and just wanted to move on to Splatoon 2. After a few years, Splatoon 1 ended up aging gracefully, and people loved to return to it. Splatoon 2 might not get that luxury because it's not the first game, and it's not as chaotic as that one, but I hope as we've come around and seen the things that Splatoon 1 did well nowadays, we can do the same thing for Splatoon 2 once 3 comes out, and acknowledge all of the things that it did end up building toward. If you do happen to be seeing this video on the last day of Splatoon 2, just play the game, experience something you didn't do before, or redo your favorite part of it. If it's replaying Octo Expansion, or doing a favorite weapon, or a league with your friends, just go for it. End Splatoon 2 on the positive note it really deserves. Well, before I get into reviewing more personal stuff, I wanted to revisit all the old trailers and just go over briefly my favorite moments from them. So let's take a trip back to 2016. The very first time we saw Splatoon, I remember calling that's what they were going to show off right here, and yep, we were right. Obviously, this big stage stuff never really came to be, but damn, it was hype at the time. The reveal trailer. It's so hard to pick specific moments from this. The music is still one of my absolute favorites in the entire series, and the complete graphical upgrade is amazing. I can't believe we thought this was going to be a port for a little bit, considering how much new stuff there really was. These will be many people's highlights. For me, I also love seeing the rails, even if it's still Moray coming back. That was hype, and getting to see some of the new abilities like the charge hold just brought up a ton of discussion in the community. Also, while it's lacking design-wise, aesthetically, Storm was probably my most favorite and hype special for a long time. It just looks so cool, and Inkjet was amazing as well. Really awesome stuff. The Direct has a ton of things you could highlight, but let's be honest, it's the Brellas for me. I love this weapon. Even if it doesn't work all the time, it's still one of my favorite concepts to ever be introduced, and I knew from day one I would play this thing once I saw it revealed. It just looks so amazing. 2.0, this introduced Clam Blitz, Squeezer, Gluga, Undercover, and a bunch of stuff, but I'm gonna pick out Mako Mart, one of the best stages in the game, and it just looks amazing. Really a fan of this one. So it's a weird thing to highlight, but at the very end of this, seeing Clash throw a burst bomb sent people into a panic, and that is my most memorable thing from 3.0. I cannot pick a moment from this trailer. This is possibly the best trailer Splatoon has ever had. Octo Expansion was amazing, and I think this whole thing was done perfectly. Like, I can't pick. I really can't. After the 2018 World Championships, we got two of the coolest looking weapons in Splatoon history, as well as the addition of more updates. And I mean, how could you not be hyped for this? Look at those two. Beautiful weapons. And of course I'm biased because Explo, but they are amazing. Oh yeah, and they also did this. That was pretty hype. Just the entire opening of version 4.0 is really good. I mean, the whole anime theme was awesome, and I really hope we get a trailer like this for Splatoon 3. Oh, and Booyah Bomb. Like, this special looks fantastic, and it was done perfectly. This was the 2019 NA Championships where we lost 3-4. I was literally there on this stage, and I was hoping we'd get a reveal. And yeah, I was on stage looking at the screen to see Mr. Nogami come here to show off the Sheldon's Picks kits, as well as introduce the Dapple and Tenebrella ones. And man, these looked awesome. We literally got all the info here, which led to a ton of speculation. And at the 2019 World Championship, we got the reveal of the final Splatfest, Chaos versus Order. At the time, I wasn't super hyped for this, but considering how well this theme has affected Splatoon 3, yeah, I really should have been. And we got Splatfest and PBs. It was really cool. I think they definitely could have done more for a final update, but you know, I'm pretty happy with this at the end of the day. So I want to talk about my own experiences a little bit. In Splatoon 1, I was not really a top-level player, and me becoming a pro happened in this game. Some of my most staple teams, staple friends, hanging out with people in person, doing events, and getting results all happened through this game, which is why I'm going to look back on it a lot more than I do Splatoon 1. These are my most notable events and what I remember from them. August 12th, 2017, shortly after the game came out, and literally the same hour Brella came out. I used it immediately. I used it poorly because everyone was bad at the time and the weapon just came out in a tournament. Day 1. We ended up winning the set against Tomo, and it was honestly really fun. And I did my first cool little shield thing. I blocked a blaster shot. Yeah, it's not that impressive. This was grands of Game 7 of a really big tournament against Demise, which was a team that was kind of mainly our rivals at the time. We managed to barely stop the clock at 1 minute remaining and would have the task of holding all the way to a knockout through overtime. We ended up getting a series of picks and I was just screaming pain at the zone. In late 2018, we played an EU tournament called Spark and went against Kraken Paradise, which was the best team at the time, pretty much undisputed, and we managed to get a huge win over them, which was awesome, especially since our team wasn't really considered as top level as it really should have been. And this was something that really helped solidify ourselves in the scene. Guys, just hold.
Oh my god, we beat KP!
Also, Gamer made a 5 AM bet that if we won, he would Fortnite dance. Yep. 2018, everybody. Of course, there was a 2019 NA Championships, which is one of my favorite of all these moments. I've done an entire video about it, so I won't say much here, but we managed to beat STDX with 1 sub, which was really expected to beat us at the time and get second place in the tournament, if not win it all. Oh, and side note, Arashi got this in qualifying. Yeah, that was pretty iconic. And of course, going 4-3 against FT Win in a grand finals we were never expected to make was awesome. Even if we lost, it was just super fun to play. Excuse the low quality as this only exists on Twitter, but going against a notable Hanron pickup full of top players in the grand finals of the Turf War Open, and winning because they didn't pay for spawn on game 1.
Say that again.
Let's go, Rashi!
What the fuck?
God, what can I say about the entirety of Squid House that we did? It was just so fun. Being able to really support the melee scene was amazing, and I did get to get a pretty cool clutch, even if we would later lose this set. It was just awesome, and I'm really glad I had the idea to get these names out there and compete in the tournament with them, because I don't know if this would have gone the same way if it didn't, so it was a ton of fun. Honestly though, this is my favorite. Getting second in Area Cup. Obviously it's not the most notable result against a Japanese team nowadays, but we went into this tournament just to have fun with double splatling double junior, and to end up placing this high was just hilarious, and I can't think of better people to do it with than Bagel, Biscuit, and Ice. Having the entire scene go absolutely crazy was just a ton of fun. This, to me, is my favorite singular moment from Splatoon 2. It just represents the utter stupidity that was our comp, having fun with friends, and getting a notable result along the way. Thanks to everyone who's participated with me in competitive. It's a ton of fun, and thank you guys so much for watching me as viewers. I really appreciate it and can't wait to do better in Splatoon 3.